Rugby, a sport of strength, speed, and strategy. Today, it's played by millions around the world, from New Zealand's mighty All Blacks to the passionate fans in England, South Africa, and beyond. But where did rugby come from? How did a simple schoolyard game become one of the world's greatest sports? In this video, we uncover the fascinating history of rugby, from its legendary beginnings to the modern game we see today. The legendary beginning, the story begins in 1823 at Rugby School in Warwickshire, England. According to legend, during a football match, a student named William Webb Ellis picked up the ball and ran with it. That bold move is celebrated as the birth of rugby, but historians still debate the truth. Was it fact, or just a romantic story told later? What we know is this rugby school developed its own style of football. And in that style, carrying the ball became central. That set the foundation for the sport we now call rugby. Early rules and chaos. In the early 1800s, football was chaos. Every school had its own rules. Some allowed handling, others didn't. At Rugby School, handling was encouraged. By 1845, 3 students wrote the first official rules of rugby. It was the first step in turning a rough playground game into an organized sport. Rugby spreads to universities as students left rugby school. They carried the game with them. Oxford, Cambridge, other universities, and soon, rugby spread across England. The game was physical, tough, exciting. Crowds gathered, and rugby grew. From a pastime into a passion, the great split. Rugby versus football then came a dramatic turning point. In 1863, the Football Association was created. They wanted one set of rules. But the big question was, should players be allowed to handle the ball? The FA banned handling. That became association football or soccer. But clubs that loved carrying the ball refused. They kept playing the rugby school style. And just like that, rugby and soccer went their separate ways. The birth of the Rugby Football Union in 1871. The Rugby Football Union was born. For the first time, rugby had official leadership. That same year, the first international match took place. England versus Scotland. Scotland won that historic game. An international rugby was born. Soon, Wales and Ireland joined in. This became the foundation of the Home Nations Championship. Today, we call it the Six Nations. Rugby goes global. By the late 1800s, rugby was spreading fast. The British Empire carried it across the world. In New Zealand, rugby became part of national identity. In South Africa and Australia, it grew into a powerhouse sport. France also embraced the game with passion. Wherever the British went, rugby followed, and it thrived. The Great Divide. Rugby union versus rugby league. But rugby history isn't without conflict. In 1895, a major split happened in northern England. Working class players wanted compensation for missing work to play. But the rugby union refused. They insisted rugby stay amateur. So 22 clubs broke away. They created the Rugby League. The new game had faster rules and only 13 players instead of 15. From that moment, rugby had 2 versions, Rugby Union and Rugby League. The rise of the Rugby World Cup. Fast forward to the 20th century. Rugby Union remained amateur for decades. But in 1995, it finally became professional. Even before that, in 1987, the first ever Rugby World Cup was held. New Zealand and Australia co-hosted it, and the All Blacks lifted the trophy. Since then, the Rugby World Cup has become one of the biggest sporting events on Earth. Watched by millions, loved by fans everywhere. Rugby today. Rugby is played in over 120 countries. Rugby Union dominates in England, France, South Africa, and New Zealand. Rugby League thrives in Australia, England, and the Pacific Islands, and Rugby Sevens. A faster, shorter version made its Olympic debut in 2016, bringing the game to an even wider audience. What started as a schoolboy's daring run with the ball has grown into a sport played and loved worldwide. Rugby's history is about passion, struggle, and unity. It's more than just a game, it's a global legacy. So tell me, which version do you prefer? Rugby Union or Rugby League? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Pastify Hub for more amazing stories from history.